Try and get through tonight quick. I know people.
Sure. Thank you for leading us. Look at you in the middle.
Want to have water ice and pretzels. That's what we would need. Lunch. Library's going to pay for the ice. Call to order. The July Parks and Recreation meeting is now in session. Roll call, Mr. Sharris, can you do the roll call for us, please?
Of course. Wade Pollock,
Here.
Peter Lake,
Here.
Caitlin Foy,
Here.
Joseph Catrombone,
Here.
Rose Vanicola.
Here.
And we'll have a moment of silence. Please keep our veterans in mind. And we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 4.1, consider approving the agenda. Do we have a motion
Motion.
and a second? Motion was made by member Foy and seconded by member Vanicola. All those in favor say aye. Aye. The motion carries unanimously. Public comment for agenda items only. Seeing no public members. Item 6.1, consider approving the minutes from June 6th, 2024 meeting. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
And a second?
Second.
Motion was made by member Catherine Bone and seconded by member Lake. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Item 7.1, Public Works update. Mr. Sharretts, please.
Yes, I'll just give a brief update for tonight. Obviously, during this season, we visit all the parks, all the trails, all the public properties 3 times a week for cleaning and inspection. Staff have been doing that. I'll bring a couple items to your attention. We did during the month of June do the Drexel Lodge Pavilion roof replacement project. So we did that in-house. We didn't contract out for that. We did some structural repair work with the roof structure itself, and then everything got reshingled. So that was completed in June. The Eagle Scout project took place where the flagpole was installed next to the pavilion. That was completed, and we're still waiting on the light to be installed, but I do believe the Eagle Scout did have a ceremony at one of the Boy Scout regularly scheduled meetings. They had the meeting out there and did put the flag up for the first time. They took it down again because the light's not installed yet, but they did have a flag raising ceremony and then took it down without the light. So as soon as the light's installed, it'll be up permanently.
Perfect.
And we did make some additional repairs to the Upper Pond Bridge until we decide how we're going to handle the bridge replacement at the Upper Pond at Drexel Lodge. And those are the highlights of some of the work that we did in June.
And the roof looks beautiful. Great job by your guys. It's amazing stuff you do in-house.
And the flagpole is definitely straight all the way around.
George and Steve and I were there, watched it go up. It was quite an effort by the young men involved. He did a great job. Very nice.
How heavy was the flagpole? It's just bulky or heavy?
I would say it's really more bulky.
Yeah.
And I mean, because they all lifted it. I mean, the scouts themselves lifted it with the technician from the flag and sign place was there and guided them during the process. He had sent instructions ahead of time. Public Works had prepared the hole and helped get some of the materials ready to go for it. The scouts showed up, but they did all the work, which was great. But the person from the flag and sign place delivered the pole there that morning and then walked them through exactly what to do so that they did really do all the work and raised it themselves. And the scouts carried the pole and pushed it up in place. So it was you know, it's bulky. I would say not as weighty.
Right, but an enjoyable moment for the.
It was enjoyable and, you know, he made sure that the base was installed properly and everything was done right. So we're very happy with the end result.
I think it was a brushed cast aluminum, so. Item 8.1, discussion and possible action for date of event at Newby Park for Rock Snake Project. So September is going to be kind of busy getting everything together for the Family Fun Day. It's our major event. It's going to take a lot of effort on our part to get that together. October, I think we discussed, is a fairly active month, and we're going to, I assume, use the elementary schools to do the rocks themselves. So I'm thinking, you know, do you have any thoughts on what might be good? Anyone have any thoughts on what might be a good date for that event? We would need them to be in school for a little while so that they get organized and get things together. I'm sure the art teachers have other projects that they're planned all summer.
When do they start school? Do you know?
The end of August? You know, Kate, you probably.
Culbertson starts after Labor Day. I think most of Marple Newtown starts the Tuesday
After,
after Labor Day. Yeah.
maybe a month in?
So that's the 3rd of
Something in-
September.
Something in October, maybe. You know, I mean, the teachers, you'd have to coordinate with the schools.
We don't want to do it late in October because we ran into issues with the Pumpkin Festival and that
Mhm.
kind of stuff.
Yeah, mid to late October, you're gonna have a couple festivals, Spirits Way and
Hmm.
elementary schools.
Maybe the first week in October.
The 5th and 6th.
I think the 5th and 6th.
That's a
Yes,
Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah, you don't want to publicize this coming up. Right? You want to let people know that this is happening.
Yeah, especially that neighborhood there, so they know that there's some interest from the township in their little park. I think, you know, that was one of our goals when we set out to do an event there every year because of issues that seem to occur there all the time.
Yeah, we did chalk. It was very much fun.
Last year.
Several times.
Yeah, I think we did it a couple of years in a
At
row.
least
Yeah.
twice, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to propose a time or just leave it at the date for now?
Let's leave it at the date for now,
Great.
and I'll reach out to the art teachers, the 3 that I still have information. See if I can find the 4th art teacher at Russell. She left. Andrea left. Yeah. Yeah, she was an amazing person.
They have a good art program at where I used to teach at Delaware County.
Christian.
Yeah. I don't,
So is there a school that, do we want to use the public school or do we want to try and use a different?
like go St. Annie's, you know, like let's mix it up a little bit. You know, one from the district.
It's St. Annie's and Culbertson for that area.
Yeah. It'd be nice to involve more, you know, different varieties of schools,
All right.
you know, make it a more of a. Yeah, well, my church brought over a bunch of kids for that tree plant.
Yes.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, those kind of things. You know, get the church out of the church, so to speak.
So St. Annie's and Culbertson, is that what we're
Yeah.
thinking?
I can reach out to my old school if you want,
What's that?
Delaware County Christian. I don't know if you want.
Third school? I think, you know, we're gonna need quite a few rocks to do this, so. Do we want to do that? 3 schools then?
maybe let's try.
Why don't we start with two?
Two,
and if
yeah.
Someone's plate is full, we can move to a third. I'm thinking too many chefs in the kitchen.
Yeah,
This
that's true.
situation. Does anyone know the Culbertson art teacher?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jill, I can't remember her last name.
Is they all away
Fiali,
this summer?
Fiali, is it?
Yeah, something, yes, that's it, yes. And what age group do you think we should target for?
Elementary, upper
Elementary.
elementary, I would think upper, middle to upper elementary.
5th grade, I think, is the cutoff for Culbertson?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like 3, 4, 5.
How old are your children, Joe?
I'm gonna go in the 5th, 3rd.
So the 5th grader could probably do like the word love on, paint the word love on the
Yeah.
rock
Or base or
flower.
scales or something. Snake. It'd be fun.
Yes. All right, so we use Culbertson 5th grade target. And I guess we'll wait to vote on that after we hear back. It gives us a couple of
Yeah.
months.
Yeah.
Item 9.1, update and possible action on the children's summer series. So I'll just briefly say that the seed planting, I think there were about 50 children there. We made packets up with a solo cup and then a biodegradable peat moss cup. And we had 3 seeds in a plastic bag, 3 seeds in the other cup, and instructions. And then there was a booklet with fun facts about pollinators and birds in the area that the kids all got. And then there was topsoil, and we had jugs of water that we poured in the little cup. So the kids all came up, took their peat moss and filled it up with soil, put 3 seeds in, and then watered it. And the EAC was there. They gave a pep talk about the environment and how planting things is good for the environment. Janet Carvanis from Birdtown USA was there, gave a pep talk about pollinators and birds. And there was about 50 kids. The Astartes donated all the materials.
That's great.
And we did it at Drexel Lodge Park. It was pretty quick, went very well.
And you spread out on all the tables.
There was 4 stations. We had 8 volunteers. So 2 volunteers at each station.
That's a big event.
To help the
Yeah,
kids.
yeah,
Nice.
it was a lot of fun, yeah. And then the firehouse event, Peter, you were there?
I was there and it was not, I think they expected more people, but they had 100 at least with parents, grandparents and kids. Had 4 stations and they kind of moved around. Outside, they were shooting the hose, trying to hit the pylons out there and water the plants. And then inside, they were crawling through a little smokehouse that they set up that has like smoke. It's not real smoke, obviously, but it tastes like cotton candy. So we saw the first kids go through and the first one came out and went.
Was it like a fog machine or?
Yeah, well, it was like this little house, plexiglass, and you had to get, the whole point was, if you have a fire in your house, get down on your knees, go low, crawl. And the kids kept going around and around. And then they had a station where the kids could put on the actual fire helmets and the big coats that went down to the floor on these little kids, small. And then they got to climb, the 4th one to climb into fire trucks. And I asked Wade, talking points, because he asked me to say something. And it was about the volunteerism of the whole community of firefighters. We don't have very many paid ones. In fact, that day there was only 1 paid firefighter out, and the rest have been doing it. One guy, 67 years. And Heather Robinson kind of led the show. I had coloring books from my office. The kids got little helmets, little plastic helmets at the end, black ones. They're going to give yellow ones, I suspect.
Yeah, we do the construction helmet.
Yeah, and parents just seemed to be really thrilled. And there was no food involved. There you go. There was no food involved, but kids didn't even seem to need food. They just loved. And then they all went home because it was beastly hot. Yeah, it was a great event. We should do that again next
Yes.
year.
And so today was the covered bridge event. George was there and supported us with a bus that ran, because there is no parking there. Fire police, traffic, the fire traffic group was there with their vehicle to slow traffic on Goshen and keep the kids away. George had the bus, Richie now donated the bus, so we only had to pay for gas and the driver. George was there to support us. And so he lined the street so the bus, it was marked for the bus to pull right in there. The kids jumped off and they all walked down to the bridge. Larry Fisher gave a talk on the bridge itself and the history of the bridge. Kids seemed to be interested in that. And then Gentili's gave us that cost, 40 oranges that we numbered. Dumped them out of the window, and the kids all had a number next to their name, and then we dumped the oranges out of the window on the covered bridge.
Into the creek.
Yes, and they floated down, and Kathy Cavalier from the Historical Society was downstream with a net catching the first ones who got a prize, which was a coloring book from the Historical Society.
Nice.
And then the library was there, of course, because they support all of our events. And handed out watermelon slices, and we had a jug of water with water, and the kids were all in the stream catching crayfish. It was crazy. The kids just really.
Were they
Just
barefoot
warm
or
place.
did they have?
Some were barefoot, some weren't. I mean, and I know there's probably some liability issues.
Yeah,
It was
cut feet.
it was-
Everybody made it out of the stream.
Yes, everyone made it
No
out.
rusty
safely.
nails, no rusty nails.
Yes, and it was just amazing. I think, a lot of these kids would not be putting their feet in the stream or, getting dirty or talking about fishing. They were catching crayfish and showing to the other kids. It was really a heartwarming event. And so there were about 31 children that showed up. I think there was actually more than that by the end.
Cool, very nice.
So yeah, it was a lot of fun. And that's part of the goal of this whole program, is to kind of bridge our community together with all the different organizations and committees and everything else that we have in businesses. And just bring everybody together to have something in common and show the parents and the children that we are a community-based township.
Yes, we
Did anybody get pictures at any of the,
I have
Series.
a couple of pictures.
I got fire company,
okay, great.
Historical Society has pictures that they took.
but I sent you some.
Yes.
If you want more, I have more.
So I'm not sure the township likes to put them on because there's
Kids,
issues with, they have to sign a waiver. So the library put some stuff on because I think they have the kids sign a waiver when they sign up for it. And the Historical Society tells them when they do that. So if you want to see anything, go to the Historical Society or the library webpage, and there should be pictures.
Great.
And so that brings us to the canine event next Tuesday, which I think there's like 47 kids signed up so far. We targeted, there weren't a lot of people signing up for it, so we targeted having ice cream there to try and generate some interest. And so the library is actually going to buy Dixie cups and have them available out of their funds, so we don't have to pay for that. And Officer Kine and Boya will be there. We're trying to get a hold of them, the police now, to see if they're going to have safety pamphlets or
And
something
what's
like
the
that.
location?
That's at Drexel Lodge Park under the pavilion.
it's Anthony Kine, right?
Yes, Anthony, yes. Nice young
He
man.
he's really
Yes.
fine person.
And the other event is Public Works, which I think we're limiting to how many? 20 or 50?
I think, and I'll have to check with Angela, I think we were limiting it to 40 children.
Okay,
She's gonna take a waiting list in case it winds up being a larger number like we did last year. That's not ideal to do two events, but we can do it if, like, again, last year, there were so many people on the waiting list, we ran a second event for them. So we'll be ready to do that if we need to.
And then the last event will be the Railroad Museum, which is, what we needed to vote on tonight was that because it's the last event, it's going to be one of the hottest days, and to shepherd the kids out of the Railroad Museum and back onto the lawn, it's going to be an issue because they're going to be infatuated with the trains and not want to leave, especially some.
I've seen it.
Yeah. But it's all,
Bribe them with water ice or something.
water ice and pretzels would be a good bribe, yes.
Well, and there'll be a place they can wash their hands, 'cause to get water ice out. Sticky.
You know what? Maybe just a jug of hand sanitizer.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and the restrooms are open.
Yeah.
What's that, George?
The restrooms at Drexel Lodge are open.
Yes.
Those water ice and pretzels. Do you want to get the little pretzel bites, little dips? The mustard dip?
Yeah, that might be a good idea.
Because to get big ones, I was just given
Big
two
ones.
Wawa ones and they're massive. I had to eat a quarter of them. It's just so big. But the little pretzel bites,
Yeah, you could do the nuggets or do mini.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, they have minis?
Yeah.
And and then they have the yellow mustard, but also the cinnamon dip. Pretzel Factory is really delicious.
And I think they would give us a discount. Are they on the townships? A list of approved?
There's one down. in
Well,
Brooklyn.
we've purchased from them before
Okay.
for other
Okay.
events.
Yeah.
And then Sugary is on that list as well because we've used them.
Correct. Yeah.
I'll reach out to both of those to try and get an estimate on what the cost
I
would be.
think last year,
Oh, yeah, you did.
$60 for a tub of water ice, so maybe 70 this year. I'm not sure it's up a little bit,
I think one tub will be enough for, I think there's like 70 kids signed up so far for the.
Great.
but I don't know, maybe two.
Yeah, I mean, you
I
could ask them
think-
how far a
You
tub of
could
water
skip-
ice goes.
You could skip the pretzels and just double down on water ice.
Yeah, you could.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
All right.
I bought the paper cups for the newbie. I think I still have them.
Okay.
Let's see.
For smaller,
Yeah, because they don't give you those. I just bought them on Amazon.
you think it's a good bribe, Joe? Water ice?
Like the idea.
yeah.
What
It's
time of day is that?
11 to 12, is it?
Yeah, they usually start at 11 and they're over by 12.
It's gonna be hot. Water ice will be fun.
I would skip the
Well-
pretzels, just do water,
Okay.
water ice.
Yeah, and I'm glad that there is the water filling station, water bottle filling station.
Oh, right.
So glad for them. Love those. Fresh water, thank you.
All right, so do we have a motion to spend funds on? And we do have a budget set up under Public Works for public events.
Yeah, so there are some, Wade and I were talking about this earlier, and I think at the end of the meeting, we'll talk about next year's budget process. But there are some funds under Public Works for community events and, not copious amount of funds, but some. And this is exactly the kind of thing that it's set aside for. Whether there's a concert and we need to cover a little bit of the expense there. The water ice and pretzels at the Newby Park event that we've done in the past. So the bus this morning for the Barger Bridge event, that's what it's for. So this is a very legitimate use of it. Getting a little water ice for this event.
Okay, so I guess we'll just assume 2 tubs of water ice, and if it comes down to 1, we'll lower it to 1. At least we'll get- So do we have a motion to purchase 2 tubs of water ice from Sugar Ray in Newtown Square? A second? So the motion was made by member Catherine Bone and seconded by member Vanicula. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item 9.2, update and possible action on Family Fun Day at Drexel Lodge Park, September. So the petting zoo is locked in for the event. I can't remember the exact funds. I haven't started generating funds from local businesses yet, but I don't think it's going to be an issue. I think we'll have more than enough. All the proceeds will go to the Railroad Museum. President, chair, and vice chair of the Railroad Museum have, they will purchase food, sell food on their property. Whatever funds they generate will be donated to the Railroad Museum itself. And I think we're gonna have the original train that was there last year. There were some issues with it tipping over, but George and I spoke, and we think that that was because the kids were rocking it, and there weren't really explicit instructions, you know, before they started the ride. So we'll have to make sure we're a little more concise on direction when some of the parents were a little taller, so that the parents shouldn't go on. But we'll try and make that a little safer this year. I think there's Heather Robinson has a travel company. She's offered to do something. I had suggested possibly helium balloons with their logo on it. They could hand out, and they would pay for that. So she's very interested.
Would Dale come back from
I'm hoping Dale, I was going to reach out.
Charming Star Place?
Yeah, she donated all of her time and characters, had to sing along. Oh, so Rose, I was gonna ask is that something the Honor Society might want to support? So we could do like temporary tattoos. They could, you know, if they could, those Honor Society students could be in the booths helping and serving
Yeah,
food
right,
and all that last year we kind of ran out of volunteers. Okay,
What are the hours of this?
so that'll be September
21st, yeah.
Did we decided on hours? I can't remember.
In the afternoon?
We figured out that, you know, there's nap times. How old are your kids again, Joe? What's the youngest?
Youngest is 6.
Six. So he's probably just
Out
past nap time. There was like a nap. There was a nap time that kind of killed everything. Everybody left. And
It was right when the plants were gonna go on.
yeah, we had a band there, and everybody was sleeping. I'm like, oh, the band's playing.
Oh, that's right, that's right. Yeah, you don't want to do it around noon.
When was it last year? It was October or September?
It was in the spring. It was May.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, so
Yeah. I think we had discussed it last month, so, I mean, we can determine the exact times. I think it was like 10 to 2, something like that. And the petting zoo would stay there the whole time because they were the biggest draw. The kids were just, you know, enthralled by.
Yeah, you said there were like thousands.
There was probably 1,000 people there. The biggest event that we've ever had.
so
No
it
kidding.
started at 10 a.m.
Yeah,
and then it went till 4.
yeah,
Wow.
But we figured out that it probably could have been done by 2
yes,
Yeah,
because that's nap
yeah,
universal.
yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
So-
put the kids in the car and they'll fall
So-
asleep on the way home.
Yeah. I think 10 to 2 would probably be best.
Yeah.
I think 4 hours will be enough fun.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
There'll be food trucks there or?
No, the Railroad Museum has, you know, it's their property, so nobody's really allowed to make money on
Okay.
park grounds. Can't sell stuff for profit.
Right.
But the Railroad Museum is a separate entity, so that they can contain food sales on their property. And, you know, again, it's benefiting the railroad museum, so there isn't profit involved. Gotcha.
They had like hot dogs and soda. It was,
Yeah.
like pretty,
So
Yeah.
somebody cooking the hot dogs, was it a grill thing or?
I think they were boiled.
Okay. I'm looking forward to this.
You should bring
Yeah, for
it
sure.
was really a lot of fun. And if we have the Honor Society there, that would be really great. Thank you. All of your contacts. Public comment, was there any public comment? I've solicited public comment at the library fence. Hopefully something will come in one day. And does anyone have anything they want to add?
So before you adjourn, I would suggest that, because I'm probably in the middle of August, I'll be asking for everybody's budget ideas for 2025. So what I'm looking for this time, instead of really dollars right away, what I'm looking for is what it is that you want to accomplish. So I would think, George and I talked about it, I would think that, you guys have been kind of targeting, 2 or 3 events a year. And so, and you may do a few more, whatever your number of events are. And then, I guess was it last year or the year before that you did the umbrellas at the one park for shade. So if you have something, what I'm mostly after is anything that's new, but if you think you want to do the same events that you're doing this year, then we would put those down. And then I would suggest that if there's a park that you want to kind of tackle and do something at the park. I know you guys have talked about several different things that you would like to look at. So it might be a good opportunity to do that with like, this would be a good time to put those out. So what we want to do is present those to the board, the ideas, make sure they're good with the ideas before you go spend a lot of time putting numbers to them. Okay.
where did we land with the batting cage at Brookside Park? There was talk of sort of taking it down.
Yeah, I think we voted to remove it, didn't we?
Yeah.
It was, okay.
Right, you voted to remove it. I'm trying to remember, did the board vote on that, or did we present that to the board? I'd have to go back and look.
I want to say it was presented. I think they were like, okay, they
I
didn't
think they were okay
vote. I think we told them that we were doing it and they just kind of didn't
Gotcha.
say no.
Gotcha. Then if that's the case, we'll verify that. Then at some point this season, we'll work on taking that down. I know we're still looking over at Brookside at what we're gonna do behind the home plate area and along the hillside there with regard to plantings and cleaning up that area. There's a number of trees along the property line, pine trees that look like they may need to come down. So we may be looking at doing a landscaping project behind there. And we'll probably do all that at the same time.
So is there a park that we should tackle? This year we have, what's left is Newby. I mean, last year we did a lot of Brookside, I think, so. We have Newby, Gable, and Drexel Lodge. There's a master plan for Greer and Brookside we did, so the other 3 parks would be Gable.
I would note that I think, we might want to consider potentially, even if we're not able to do a whole lot at Greer related to the movement of the stream because of our timing with going through all the permitting. If we could look at potentially at least getting the playground that we're interested in starting to move in that direction. I think there's a real need for that. I keep hearing a lot of requests for that. And especially since we want to make it an accessible playground. So I think that you know, that ought to be a project that's kind of before you next year, to kind of help us, work with a playground company and really come up with a solid playground that would work in that location, which is what we wanted to do.
So should we be making suggestions in August for that then, Steve, or?
Yes, I would think so.
That's great. I feel like that's a front runner because we've been talking about that and like Steve said, we can move forward with the playground even though the water areas.
I just had a question about, the batting cage. If we get to get it out, removed, didn't we speak about putting a pickleball court there? Potentially in the future?
I threw out there that maybe like a one court, because it's a half of a tennis
Yeah,
court,
exactly. It'd just be
maybe
one.
could fit.
Yeah.
We didn't measure it.
Yeah, so I think we had we kicked it around. We were gonna look and see the space once it was actually down. We just want to keep in mind that if somebody's playing ball there, it might be tricky to have a pickleball court
Going.
so close to the ball field. But again, I think that is something that we can look at when it's down. We can, you know, really analyze the space and
It is very close.
Yeah.
It would be a
Very-
tight one.
yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't get a softball in the back of your head if you.
Maybe next year we take a look at that. And Harry Robinson, I spoke with him about it, and he suggested where the field goal is. We remove the field goal, we could put it in that area there. It's away from the ball fields, so like.
That's a good
3%.
idea.
Yeah, you mean over where the little parking lot is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's easy access from the parking lot, but
Um,
I don't know that that's something we want to tackle this year.
No.
So I guess if everyone can get out to Greer and take a look, the master plan is on the township's website. I don't know if your children visit playgrounds.
Yeah.
You know, maybe they have some ideas on, you know, sometimes the best ideas come from the
That's true.
kids. So
Yeah.
they have ideas from playgrounds that they visit, not, you know, maybe not Newtown Square, but other places.
Veterans Park in Broomall is sort of a beloved new playground. They have some equipment that you
Yeah.
could probably mimic.
Is that like in a gully, sort of?
Uh,
There's a park.
Veterans, it's right off of Lawrence Road. Not far from Lawrence Park Shopping Center. Would this be like a, what is it called, place and pour, not a wood chip? Since we're looking for better accessibility?
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to do some, you know, research to kind of determine exactly how we would do that at that location. You know, it may be one of those things that we do it in stages, but yeah, I would think at least part of the park has to be place and board or something like that to allow for access.
I guess if everyone can visit Greer, and then if you can get to other accessible playgrounds to get some ideas, got them around next month and the month after. Make suggestions.
Sure.
If there's any other equipment that anyone thinks for another park. Great as well.
Is there, I'm thinking of Newby's playground equipment. I think it's a little bit older. Is there sort of like a recommendation to replace that? Or would that be its own master plan in the future? Or, you know, how play sets are pretty good for a while and then you think
They get
about replacing
tired.
them. Is Newby near there? Like, what's the timeline?
we can check when that was installed. I want to say that the Newby said, the Brookside Park said, the Gable Park said, were all done right around the same time. And we can check on the life expectancy of some of those sets and see where they're at. But I think we are probably going to be in a challenge that a lot of them were simultaneous. I do know that the swing set at Newby went in a lot more recently.
Yeah, that seems newer than the
Yeah.
playground set on the other side.
Yeah, I was here when that went in, so I remember that going in.
I think compared to Gable and Brookside, Newby seems older. I don't know if it is. But it seems like it had more wear and tear.
Yeah, it does get more wear and tear. It does. I should very quickly update this group as well. We started the painting of the basketball court at Newby Park and here at Gable Park. If you go out there, you'll see that it's half done.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they only started, that's really it's really gonna be a July report item because they started just this week on it. But they're actually doing Newby and this one at the same time. So they're kind of, they did repairs up at Newby, they did repairs here, then they gave it the base coat, then they started with the initial painting coat, then they're coming back and doing the second coat and the lines on it.
Are they doing the logo in the center court?
That'll be that'll be done last on the two of them. And fortunately, the paint dries quickly. Otherwise, we would have had to have roped it off tonight, but they said within half an hour, you're good to be on it.
I was gonna say, as they've been doing it, I've found that I was gonna say kids, but some of them are adults, are literally on it within that 30, as soon as that 30 minutes is kind of up,
They're out there playing.
they're out there playing. I mean, there was a group that was actually playing on it when it was
Just the black
just the black.
undercoat,
Yeah,
yeah.
undercoat. So they've not wasted any time using it.
And it's interesting watching them do it because like I wasn't sure if they sprayed it or if they rolled it. They really pour the paint out and squeegee it.
Oh.
And they marked out the lines. I mean, I appreciate their craft because they marked out where the lines are, but they're not using tape at this point. They just have chalk marks and they literally squeegee right up to the line and then spin it around. So that's all done by eye, what you see now. Now, when the white lines go down, that'll cover over all the edges and make them, crisp. But it's interesting looking at what they've done out there. It was all by eye.
Gonna go look.
So I guess, does anyone else have anything? Comment, no public comment, so we're adjourned.
Met a neighbor. Who's just he and his wife are psychiatrists, psychologists.
Kids, well, we were there
And
yesterday.
my wife wrote a book.
They have a tot lot.